This video is brought to you by Sportland, quality, integrity, and tradition. Well, hello to you. Happy New Year. It is 9:09 p.m. Friday, December 30th. We got a walk-in cooler not working, 51 degrees, high temp, and we have an A1 alarm. This is a Heatcraft QRC controlled evaporator coil. So let's pull the cover off and see what it says in there. So this is not what I want to see on a Friday night. We also got an E6 A1. So if we come over here, A1 is high room temp, E6 is low superheat during cooling, and we're in pump down mode right now. So that stinks. Let's, man, we gotta pop up onto the roof. It's raining outside, so that kind of stinks. So let's go up there and see what's going on. So before I ran up onto the roof, I decided to run by the main circuit breaker panel, and man, I found that the main circuit breaker had been left off. That is a bit frustrating, to say the least. So I flipped the breaker for the evaporator real quick because obviously the main breaker for the compressors was off. So I think the unit went into an error, and because it was saying PDN for pump down. More than likely because it had low superheat for so long. The reason why it sees low superheat is because it sees basically no superheat. So it thinks it's low superheat. So eventually it'll shut off on an error. I think that what happened was the customer got a delivery today, and they did what they were supposed to do and turn off the breaker when they did their walk-in delivery and put everything away, and someone forgot to turn it back on. But I already showed the manager, because I literally called and asked them before I came out, did you get a delivery today, because I know this restaurant? And they said, yeah. And I said, did you check the breakers? And they said, yeah, they're all on. I said, what kind of breaker did you check? Because there we go. See, now we have a delay and it's turning on. So I said, what kind of breakers did you check? I said, was it a really small one or a big giant one? And she said, it was a small one. And I said, go check for the big giant one, because it's a 3-phase circuit breaker for the condensing unit. And she goes, well, nothing's off, and they don't turn anything off. So we'll see. I'm going to jump up on the roof real quick and check. All right, so it's raining up here, but I got to figure out which one's which. Now, this one is the walk-in freezer. I'm just guessing because we have liquid injection on the compressor, and it's not running, but you can see that it had been running. Nothing's labeled. I don't know why. When I walked up, I heard this one turn on. So I think this is the walk-in cooler. And then I think this is their beer walk-in. I think. This is 448A. So yeah, I think this is the beer walk-in. And I think this is our walk-in cooler. So we're gonna give it a minute. Let's have a look right here. Sight glass is clear. Both condenser fan motors running. Suction line and liquid line. Let's see. Liquid line. Suction line is cool. Let's open up the electrical panel real quick. Oh yeah, walk-in cooler. So cool. I heard it turn on right when I walked up. So yeah, it was just them leaving the breaker off. And good gosh, they've got loose belts. So here's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, this is frustrating. Yeah, I tried to walk them through it. Yeah, I'm here late at night. Yeah, it's raining, all that good stuff. But life happens, okay? Yeah, the manager should have checked like I asked her, but again, why be negative when, you know, it is what it is. Life happens, right? So, I know that that makeup air unit has a loose belt. Guaranteed, these guys are gonna have loose belts too. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around and just take a quick look on the roof while I'm waiting for that thing to drop, you know, just a little bit in temp, the walk-in box. And I'm just gonna look and see if there's belts and stuff, and I'm gonna generate more service calls out of this, because I'm genuinely just gonna look around and say, hey, you know what, I can hear a belt squeaking on that. We'll get them to create a work order. I might as well, while I'm here, just kind of look out for their best interests, see if they've got any other issues. So I'll open up the ACs real quick. It sucks being here, but you know, I'm gonna make the best of it. It's already coming down. I mean, not a lot, but it's at 49. Sight glass is clear. Let's look at the back of the coil, see if it's all dirty. It's kind of hard. I got to climb to get back there. I think I remember sending one of my guys here to clean this. It's not dirty at all. So that's a good sign. All right. Well, we're just going to watch it drop a little bit in temp. And then I'll get out here and we'll be coming back to look at the belt on that makeup air unit. The other exhaust fans seem to be, they're all running. So I don't know if they have loose belts or not, but we'll deal with it when it's not raining. So that was extremely frustrating because I literally called them and tried to walk them through. Are you sure you checked all the breakers? You know, and I know that particular restaurant. So I was like, did you guys get a delivery today? Because that was their typical delivery day. And they said, yeah. And when I got there, you know, I found that the breaker was just simply off. It was frustrating to say the least. And I can promise you that when they offered me food in consolation, I said, yeah, no thanks. Oh man, what a day. That was the day, that was the 30th, right? And then I got a call on the 31st too. That was a frustrating one. Like, oh my gosh. So stay tuned for that video. But whew, boy, what a New Year's, pre-New Year's Eve, or whatever you want to call it, New Year's Eve. But I mean, for real, you know, I'm really complaining. Like, these are the petty problems that I talk about. I'm so fortunate to have these petty problems. And again, you know, while I was up there, I heard belt squealing, and it gives me an opportunity to go back out there. And, you know, I was able to generate another service call, have the customer create another work order, and then I'm going to go back out and change belts. I haven't even been back out yet. But, you know, it's just one of those things. It's a bummer when you get those calls, but just remember, you know, the manager on duty, you know, it's frustrating, but for real, they have a lot of stuff going on. They're understaffed. It's just crazy. So while I still am genuinely frustrated, I didn't really vent it to the customer. They knew. You could see the embarrassment on the manager's face when I just politely, you know, kill them with kindness kind of a thing. So I went through the equipment. And then, you know, just go grab the manager. Hey, do you mind? Can I show you something for a sec? You know, and she goes, oh, please don't tell me it was something easy. And then I just walk her right over to the breaker panel and I go, is this the breaker that you checked? And I turned it on and I go, the breaker was off, you know, but hey, I told her, I said, but hey, I'm going to still go through the equipment. I'm going to check it all out, you know, and then also I didn't show it in the video. The walk-in cooler door is not shutting right. The hinges don't work. So I'm going to go back and change all those too. But it's just one of those things. It's a bummer. But like I said, it is what it is. You know, I just do the best that I can. And I try not to get too overwhelmed with this stuff. And it's funny too, though, because on the way home, I called my wife and I'm like, you wouldn't believe what it is. And she goes, don't tell me it was the breaker. Because she was sitting right next to me when I tried to walk the manager through everything. And I was like, yep, I just had to turn the breaker on. You know, here's your sign kind of a thing. But again, you know, still do your due diligence, make sure the equipment's running, check the sight glass. I saw no need to put service gauges on it, but you still just kind of check everything. It was cold and it was raining, so that's a perfect time to check the sight glass, make sure it's not empty. It's also really important to understand and be able to differentiate between an empty sight glass and a clear sight glass. It's hard for me to describe how to tell, but, you know, an empty sight glass looks hollow. A clear sight glass, you can usually see a haze. If you're curious, just shut the equipment off. Turn it back on, and you'll just watch the sight glass clear right up. I really appreciate you making it to the end of the video as usual. Thank you so very much for all this continued support. 2022 was an awesome year, and let's hope that 2023 is just as good, if not better. I hope to continue to you know, keep making these videos and hope to share the new podcast with you, and, you know, all that. So thank you so very much, and we will catch you on the next one.